This Oh Steve comes to us from Taekwon Adams. Alert, Oh Steve, this one fire. I'll be the judge of that. This works with Michael Jackson's Rockin' Robin song cadence. He rocks in the treetops all day long, hopping and bopping and singing his song. All the little birdies on Jaybird Street love to hear him go, oh, Steve, 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 Rockin' Robin.
Spears and Steinberg. You know what the it is? Aries and Andy, Jew and the Jerk. You know it's time to get this work. The real raw, gutter, uncut, cold. No political corrections. Always sleep. Being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes. Scribe, we lit. There's levels to this before you was on your mama. Aries Spears don't give a fuck. We talk about race a lot, racism. Much love to my loyal bag holders, rollers, loaders. We got them in the folders. The whole world on our shoulders. Spears and Steinberg. Yeah,
That was good.
It was good. I don't know that, he built it up so much that.
Well, he shouldn't have put the emphasis on this as fire.
Yeah, if he didn't do that, we would have been like, that was good, that's really good. But since he put it on there, I wanted fire.
Humility, son.
I also want to give a big shout out to what is the name? Is it Sidelines?
Sidelines. Orch Bar and Grill.
Yeah, we've been going over there because it's right across the street from the hotel. And I know you people in Buffalo are going to hit me up because you're going to say they're not the good ones. And you can tell me everybody who has better wings. But you know what those other wing places didn't have? Me, and giving me a T-shirt. They gave me the T-shirt, so that's why they got the shout out.
Oh, shit, I'm in the wrong place. All right. This dude is definitely African. This is from Zwakili Mithimkulu.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand anything you were saying.
It was the accent. Aries needs new glasses frames. What's up, A&A? Fan here from South Africa. I've been a fan of the podcast for years. It took a while for Andy to come out of his shell, but I'm happy he is now comfortable expressing himself and cracking jokes on the podcast.
Not too much.
I'm in South Africa, so it's unlikely that I will ever see you both. South Africa. It would be nice to see some of Andy's stand-up online. All of his videos are from 10 years ago. If it wasn't for the podcast, some of his fans would think he died or something. Aries, what happened to the characters? Consuela, the Mexican maid, the radio racist host from the 50s, Bartholomew, the pompous British noble. My favorite was the sexist African dude who dismisses his woman by saying, you have no say in the matter. Aries, I know this is your first pair of reading glasses, but come on, OG. They look like they were a last-minute purchase at Walmart. They were.
I'm going to get him some from my guy.
Cheaper, man.
I'm going to get you some from my guy.
I told you, man. Get me the big Sam Rothstein.
I'm going to get
frames.
some. Yeah, I'm going to get some big giant.
Yeah. Can't you get Andy to hook you up with nice frames that complement your look? The ones you have on look like they could snap at any moment, regardless. Zaquele. Well, yeah, nigga, if I take an aggressive enough sneeze, they'll pop right the off my face.
If you got a little, maid's wig, you'd be looking like you're trying to...
What's the maid's wig?
You know, like those little haircut wigs, like Shirley Booth wore in Hazel or something like that. Mm-hmm. The glasses would look good with that. That would be the right look.
All right.
I'm going to get you some glasses, though. They don't fit. They're not the right shape.
I only use them for this.
Did you even try them on, or you just grabbed the first pair that you could see out of?
Nah, I looked and said, okay, these work, and there we go. I am a heterosexual man. I don't spend a lot of time shopping. I know what I want. I club it over the head, and I take it back to the cave.
Dude, you can look at glasses that fit your face. Gay ain't going to jump all over you if you're in the store shopping for some glasses, some frames that fit your head.
Who ain't going to jump on me?
Gay is not going to jump on
Hey, them be hiding everywhere. You don't never know where they're going to pop out.
What about some of these Malcolm X's right
See
here?
what I mean? They just popped out.
Those are nice frames, though. Those are updates with the wide sides.
Malcolm, Andy the tough guy. I just love how tough Andy is now all of a sudden. 8 years of you talking over and interrupting him, not a peep. Marc does it. Andy decides he wants to puff his chest and yell, shut the fuck up all of a sudden. Marc, I have no idea how you do it. Andy realized he was no longer the lowest on the total poll.
That's exactly right there.
Since Marc joined, and I like the fact that you own it. Marc joined and wants to start posturing. Teeth would have been knocked in by now. There's no way I'm letting a short, fat, broke, and balding beta male who makes $200 a week and whose wife has been covering rent and living expenses for the past 5 years.
No, keep going.
Talk to me like that.
I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
just me,
sorry you
though.
don't have
Now,
that kind of game that you can't get someone to pay your bills.
now I mean that's that mean Jude. Know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry that ain't working out for you that way. And if you come to the game 5 years late and you think you can put your popcorn on my table and put your feet up, you're wrong.
You know what I mean? Rook.
So that's the way it goes.
Rook.
This is just the way it is.
This is the first time, and Marc's hasn't even been with us 2 years. This is the first time Marc's going international. We all going to Canada together. So, we got to carry the bags to the bus.
I went last year for one trip.
Yeah, where'd you go? Where'd you go?
Toronto.
Yeah, you met up in Toronto. That's right. See, no, it's not his first time international.
Nah, but this is like, you know what I mean?
This one is work. This one's gonna be work. Damn, I can't believe I get all the shit I get for $200 a week.
You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty good.
Jose Gardia. Yo, Andy. Ha, ha, ha. I can't believe how pissy he got with Marc about Trump. He says he doesn't like him, but he got super emotional with this topic. So I bet, and let me stop right there. Correction, because when I pre-read this, I went, no, it wasn't that. It wasn't emotional about the topic. He got pissed because Marc kept interrupting him.
Over and over before, and kept asking me the questions, different questions. And Marc is the kind of guy that after it's all over goes, well, you kept jumping around.
That's exactly what you did.
Well, hold on. So I beg to differ, sir. You go the extra length to say, well, what about Biden? Biden is no longer in office, my guy. Just face it, man. Trump is and always will be a piece of shit who only cares about, oh my God, the rich and nobody else. I've never heard Aries tell Andy, shut the fuck up like that, even though he's wanted to. Ha, ha, ha. Marc took it like he takes two, like a champ.
Thank you.
Dude, you got it on both ends.
You're like
of
a
that
supportive
one.
father.
Yeah. I can't even answer that. You already said what it was.
Yeah.
And it gets frustrating because he does it on purpose.
Yeah.
No, this is what happens. You start talking, and it's like, all right, let's talk about that thing that you just said. But then you move to another thing.
I moved to another thing because
he Charles Barkley's it.
No, because it's within the realm to explain it, and then you'll just go, well, what about this? And then you'll take it to.
Well, what's in the realm? That you said it in English?
Well, if I could have finished the statement, it would have been tied together. But you interrupt it and then take it somewhere else.
You do that.
Well, I'm trying to get to the point. Trying to trim the fat.
Don't try to trim the fat. No one asked you to trim any fat. Just
leave Aries alone the way he is.
Not
See,
trying to get.
You see, I can poke fun at myself.
You sound like Barkley when you said that too. That way too.
What?
See how I tried.
Now you see how I can make fun of myself. Yeah. Broken _I. Thanks for the times, but I'm done. I used to like this pod, but it's horrible now. For the life of me, I can't understand how you, Aries, do not have any pushback for Andy on these Trump topics. I told you way before this election, Andy was a Trump supporter. When Andy get backed in a corner, he deflects from the conversation. Andy, don't ask me, when have you done this? I cannot answer you, dummy. This is an email. I'm done. Best of luck to you and this fake-ass white boy who really a juicican and with a racist mother. Sorry for the long email, but it's my last. Regards, King. You know, we've tread down these waters before, and I've said, you know, you guys, it's okay to express how you feel. We like that. But for the mere fact that you want to give up, just because you have a disdain for what Andy says in regards to Trump or my inability to push back, and I've always said it up front and center, I wish I could push back better, but I'm not a political dude, man. I'm not. It just doesn't interest me. I know what I think I know, which what I think I know is usually right. And listen, we've had this argument. Trump's a piece of shit to me. You know, he is. And I'm not going to keep saying it. And I've given my examples as to why I think that. And Andy, of course, has fought me on it. But there it is.
Yeah, but I don't disagree about some of the shittiness of Trump. I disagree with the hypocrisy that people come at it with. That's what I disagree with more than anything else. But policy-wise, I think he has some good policy. Is it great? No. When the last person brought up about Biden, or maybe this person did about Biden, but you have to go by what the predecessor did as well, because before it was Biden, it was Trump. And these two have taken this country into what we are living in now because of their animosity towards each other. That's a problem. And that's a big problem I have with Trump. He lets his regular personal business affect our business, all of our business as people.
Right.
Wonderful.
Chris in color. You can do what you wanna do in Chris in color.
That's a good one.
I like Marc. Hey, Aries, hearing Marc get Andy riled up about his boy Trump was hilarious. Relax, man. Still here, still loving the pod.
That's good.
Yeah. Ollie D. Marc versus Andy, episode 676 response. Boy, y'all got it cooking.
Yeah, that was good.
Hi, Anna. Was listening to the episode, and it's very apparent that you guys should have a guest on that is knowledgeable about Trump and his policies in order to properly challenge Andy on this subject. Because to me, it's kind of like a high school kid destroying a kindergartner in basketball and thinking they're good. You need to bring in someone that knows how to play ball. I kind of like Marc in a way because I know you're incorrect, but I can articulate why you're incorrect. Not because the information doesn't exist to disprove you, Andy, but because I don't remember and haven't invested enough time on the subject to recall the facts. There's a man called Kyle Kolinsky that does an excellent job at challenging what Trump says and does not by emotion, but by using facts. Would love to see you guys have him on here, even for 10 minutes, to challenge what Andy's saying. He's got a YouTube challenge called Secular Talk if you guys are interested. P.S. Still like you, Andy, but just think I'd like to see a fair argument debate on this. Dude, you know who Charlie Kirk is?
Yeah, Charlie Clark.
Charlie Clark.
Oh, boy, does he.
No.
You know, I love seeing him take the piss out of people. But it's one of those, you know, that's what I mean. Like, for instance, I'm not saying you're Charlie Kirk, but when it comes to this subject matter, I'm like them college kids going up against him. I'm not equipped to take him down, even though I see the in some of what he says. I just don't have the skills to do it. I would love to see, is it Charlie Kirk or Clark?
Kirk.
I would love to see Charlie Kirk debate Louis Farrakhan.
No, I don't.
I would love to see that.
I don't think that debate even works.
Why? Because you think he'd get annihilated?
No, they're just coming from different perspectives, and I don't think that they fit.
Intellectuals are intellectuals, aren't they?
I don't know that Charlie. I don't know that he's. I don't. Do you? Would you call him an intellectual though?
I mean,
He's a thought person.
He's a thought. I think he's a thought person. He's well thought out.
I'd consider him a intellectual.
I don't know. You know, I think intellectual. The reason I say there's a difference between processing the facts that you have, which I think he does very well, and I think that he calls out hypocrisy very well. But there's certain issues that have gray areas that you also have to be able to acknowledge the gray areas. And that's one thing I don't think that he does at all. It's either this or that. And
Well, it's because when everyone's like debating and stuff and going head to head, you never want to.
You know what I like about him though, and you can see with the college kids, and I think obviously this might be a testament to youth, but they get so riled up emotionally.
Yeah,
and he just like a Neo in the Matrix. He's just hitting like He's cool, he's calculated. And I think when you come from a place of high emotion, it's hard to gather your thoughts and your words together. And the fact that he's so cool and just skeet shooting these pull like they're nothing.
Yeah, but also you're only seeing what he's showing you.
Yeah.
You don't know. Like he's probably I would love to see the whole event, to see the whole amount of people that like came and asked him questions and tried debating with him, the things that you see spliced are like clipped from, those are like the dumbest.
I'm
of the
not
dumb.
disagreeing with you on that, but I think if people really had got you moments, there's other people recording in the audience, and they would get those out there.
Absolutely.
Because a got you moment would be something that people would want to put out there. What I don't like, I'll tell you what I don't like about what he says. And this goes with a lot of people who debate this way. When it comes to the idea of systematic racism in this country.
Systemic or systematic?
Well, both, actually, but systemic.
Spell that.
I can. What bothers me with it is when he says, what can a white person get that a black person can't get in this country? Truly, and I've said this, the way that it's written, yes, racism does not, like in the Constitution, the Constitution's written without, I feel it's written without any, it's justice. It doesn't have any, the racism isn't included in that. But what the people do, the people in charge, the people who've had power, the dominant, and obviously if the country, it was started by white men. It was founded by white men, and white men had the opportunity to repeal slavery completely at the founding of this country, and they didn't. So they had the power. They put themselves in the places of power. So even after the institution of slavery fell, the people of power were able to institute another form of slavery. So yes, obviously the Constitution doesn't allow for it, but the people manipulating the system do. So is it systematic in the idea, or that it
is that the gray area?
That's the gray area. Okay. Because what I'm saying is, yes, it isn't written in law. It's not codified in law. He's right, Charlie Kirk, when he says it's not codified in law. You should be able to get the same exact things that anybody else gets, no matter what color you are. But the fact is, if people who are in charge, and only after years and years and years of people either going to court to get their rights, to be treated fairly, or just over years of actually money being invested properly and people building up businesses and now having some kind of equity in this country, those things aren't considered. And that's the only part that kind of upsets me when we get into these conversations. There's no room for that. But what you said is correct too. We're debating, and when you debate, you go for the facts, not for the gray areas.
Listen, I'll take him versus Farrakhan, him versus Eric Michael Dyson, him versus Cornel West. Just somebody, not a child who's emotionally just so triggered that they can't function.
That's his.
Yeah, Eric Dyson.
That's his thing. That's what he does.
Well, that's what he does.
Pick on someone your own size.
Yeah, but what he said, and what he made a great point, when a girl called him out that said, you're coming here and you're picking on college students. He goes, I put a mic out there. Anybody's welcome to the mic. I didn't call you up to the mic.
I mean, fair enough, but I'm just saying in terms of, again, young people aren't seasoned.
If you want to see something kind of interesting, go look at the debate between Eric Dyson and Peterson.
Scott Peterson?
No.
What's Jordan Peterson?
Jordan Peterson.
I hate that.
Why?
I don't understand. He's just like word salad type. Like, I don't understand what he's saying. I don't get the points he makes. He might be too intellectual for me. I just don't
see. And that's what when you say intellectual, that's who I think of as more of an intellectual than Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, he has more of an academic background.
So that's what because
you don't see the way Farrakhan can Ginsu slice down. You don't see Farrakhan being able to.
No. I just see their conversations being complete. I don't see it as a good debate. Like when you see two teams fighting, going at each other, it's because the center matches up with the center. The guards match up with the guard. That is, their conversations are coming from two different places. It would be interesting. I just don't think it would be good. I would put when you said Dyson, I would see Charlie Kirk and Dyson go at each other. That one would make more sense to me. I just don't with Farrakhan. It's also Farrakhan has a lot of emotion in his argument. He's very factual, but he also has emotion in it, and I have a hard time trying to think of someone who on the opposite side, the conservative side. There's a few people. I'm gonna try to think of what we should come up with some. So I'll come up with a matchup that I think would be good.
Verb Turner, Aries and Harland. Incidentally, Harlan hit me today. Harland Williams, and that clip that he and I did is at 2.1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harlan's great, man.
I'll just got done.
You already started.
$10
Right off the top.
off the top. I'll just got done listening to you and Harland Williams on the Harlan Highway. I have to say, man, that was hilariously entertaining, LOL. It seems like Harlan has always been one of the most gracious people in the comedy world. He's such a lighthearted and a goofy dude, and although he's weird as he's still fun to listen to. So when I saw you on there, it was pure delight to see you two play around, no Diddy. Oh, my God. My favorite part was when you guys started singing the slave song, LOL. I almost spit out my drink. I also think that Harlan had an excellent idea when he said that he would be a white slave on the plantation. That would be brilliantly hilarious, man, because he would be the perfect guy to pull it off. Anyways, keep up the good work. Can't wait till your project comes together. Peace. And, you know, I'm going to tell you something, man. After I saw the clip, I didn't think about it originally when we mentioned it because I was just like, yeah. But then when we did the whole back and forth, and I was like, yo, you might have to do a rewrite because to have him as a slave, but we never call attention to the fact that he's white. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's going through all this shit we going through, wearing the tattered clothes and the chains, singing the spirituals, picking the cotton. But we just never mention it.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. Rewrite.
I like Harlan, man. I got to work with him a couple years ago.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was weird, dude, because I knew the kind of dude he was, and for whatever reason, I was expecting a traditional podcast, but it was so weird, and I went, this is how weird it was. 5 minutes into it, I went, I'm gonna go home, because it was just so weird. But then I thought to myself, this is a good opportunity. Number one, you'll reach a whole demographic, and number two, this is your comedy chops. If you're a comedian, if you're a baller, you ball. So even though it's a different kind of feel, figure out the rhythms of who he is and fall in line and be who he is with him for an hour. You know, just embrace it and take a deep breath and just embrace this and just flow, man.
Have you been around him before?
Always, yeah, but in passing, we both got a set at the Laugh Factory. You know, he's on 2 comics after me or vice versa, and we sit in that little entryway and chop it up, but never like that. But there was always a love and a mutual respect. So I just went, go with it, dude. Just go with it. At one point, he pulls out what he said was his, what do you call them? Safety animals that give you, when people bring them on a plane.
Yeah.
Like emotional
support.
He said, hey, buddy, you want to see my emotional support animal? I said, oh, okay. This nigga pulls out a slug the size of a grain of rice. And he goes, I call it my look at my buddy. It's crawling down my finger, my And at one point, the thing fell and hit the table. And he goes, my fell off my finger. And it started crawling and it left a wet trail. He goes, look at my wet trail, buddy. And I at first I'm going, what the do I do with this? But, you know.
His buddy isn't like, that's you.
Buddy.
It's deeper, though.
But, yeah, I'm not trying to nail in and pressure them.
I know, no. It's just funny because I'm listeing to you do it, and I was hearing Pauly Shore not.
No, Pauly's like, buddy. He drags it. So, yeah, man, but, yeah,
Dude, you ask him a fucked up question, he'll answer it normally. You ask him a normal question, and he comes up with the weirdest, like, he's just more...
Like, we'd be in the middle of talking, and he'd go, can you do me a favor? Call me scallop potato fingers.
I gotta see this.
Okay.
He's a different cat, man.
Yeah, man.
He mixes it up. If it gets normal or comfortable,
right,
he just goes in and stirs it up.
Right. But and the funny thing is, on stage he murders.
Mm-hmm.
He'll murder a room. So
I watched him murder every fucking night.
Yeah.
And it was just, and I want to say you watch him murder, but you can see. There's people in the room that don't get it, and I think he loves that just as much.
Yeah.
Because I watch these people, and it's funny to watch the people who are like
Right.
they're just their head is like on a swivel, and they're looking around at the people laughing, and they're trying to figure
Right.
out why it's funny.
Yeah.
And they become, to me, they're the funny ones in the room. It's funny to watch them because they're not getting it at all.
Yeah. Alan Green, Aries reading glasses. What's up, fellas? Going to keep this short and sweet. Aries attached is the exact way I'm going to be watching the new Superman film. Much love to both you guys. Oh, that's funny.
That is funny.
Yeah. Incidentally, they said, James Gunn in James Gunn fashion, by the end of the movie, Superman gets a new suit. I'm like, can't you just have him wear what he's wearing now for 10 minutes and then he gets the new suit? You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, man, I'm going to go see it, and I hope that I have the same reaction that I had when I saw Robert Pattinson's The Batman. Because I remember I didn't want to like that. And we came out of that, and I called you and went, yo, that right. But, dude, again, the costume, the underoos, the hair, it just all looks wrong.
There is something about it, though, when he, in the little sizzle that they do, when she goes, "You'll let me interview you as Superman?"
You talking about the lean forward?
Yeah, and he leans forward. There's a moment there when
There
went,
is.
and I went, I see something.
There is. Yes, Lois. When he turns into, and we talked about it when we did the Christopher Reeve doc. That moment
Where he goes to take off his glasses and he puts them back on.
and he shows you the difference between Clark Kent and Superman.
It's this far.
Yeah. Matter of fact, no. It's this far. Yeah, man. I just like he's got that curly poof on. Like he's got boy band hair, and he's got a. I'm going to the Comic-Con outfit with big droopy drawers. I hope they shock me. I really do.
Dude, sometimes you have to push forward. I mean, listen, I remember when I said that I like Jared Leto's Joker, and everybody was against me, and now
A lot of people still are against you, and I agree with you wholeheartedly.
But now I see more people kind of going, well, sometimes
I
when
don't
you get
know what
something
they
brand
saw
new,
that was so off, because it was so different.
yeah.
I thought it was phenomenal. I
But
thought it was great.
If you don't go for different, then you're just going to get the same thing. And then what is they're going to say? Oh, they just try to recreate the same character. So either way, you lose. You might as well go.
No beef. You don't want no beef.
That's a great.
All that chit chat's gonna get you hurt. I thought he was great. Craig Clark, DJ Andy. Andy, when you were a DJ, what kind of mixer you used? And can you do Breakbeats and Spears, your top 5 New York DJs? Oh, I can't. I only know a couple DJs. DJ Cool Hurt and DJ Kid Capri.
You don't know John Jellybee's Benens?
No. That's a real person?
Yeah.
Black?
No, white dude. Well, not really white. He, like my white, he's actually, I think, Puerto Rican.
Oh. Sazon.
Light skin, though.
So what kind of what kind of mixer you use, and do you do breakbeats?
I can do breakbeats. I probably can't now. It's been years, man. I got on. I started to try to. Around. I have a 1200 turntable still at my house, but I just one, and but I was trying to around. Someone else had a couple turntables, and I was trying to mess around. It's dude, that is not. It's not riding a bike. It is not at all.
You can't just get back on it.
No. And I forgot what mixer we had. So many. I had tons of equipment. We went through a lot of different things. The only thing I kept the whole time was the same turntables that I had, and we messed around with everything else. Amps, mixers. The best thing, you have to mixers. We'd bust them up because you want them loose. You want the fader right and left loose. So by the time they'd fall apart, and it was just cheaper to buy a new one and pick it up. So
here's an oldie but goodie. Haven't heard from in a while. Tears in the bathtub. Kolsch. Been a long time. Just writing my partners. A&A and Marc, check out the movie Magazine Dreams with Jonathan Majors. I think this is his best role, and the fact that he's in his prime is both scary and exciting, and this role proves it. Aries, can you give us any updates about your movie? Will you have a role in it for Andy? Any other talents you have in mind for it? Love and peace. Tears in a bathtub. Of course I'm going to have Andy in it. Andy's going to be the meanest overseer that whips all the niggas.
Yeah, you tried to get me that part so that I just wouldn't be able to even play it. There was something. What movie was he talking
I
about?
want to be in the movie. Can I like hook up with a slave?
He's the guy who drops off the Jewish slave ship.
What would you say? What movie was it? Dreams with Jonathan Major.
Can you pull that? Did you pull it up? I haven't seen it. I don't know. About it.
You know, I told you I flew on a plane.
Oh, is this the one where he's like a bodybuilder or some shit?
I don't want to mess with any. I don't want people to write in thinking that I said something wrong here. There were ships that were owned by Jews that were leased out to slavers. So that's what the point that I was.
This does look good.
Like my deltoids, judges always say they're too small. Think they're liars?
Everyone's a liar.
I'm sorry.
What did you laugh at?
You like my deltoids? I don't know why that just. The insecurity to come out with that.
I think bodybuilders are douchey.
You like Arnold?
Yeah, I like that as an action star, not a bodybuilder.
Dude, I forgot to even bring that up when we were talking about Pee Wee Herman.
He looked like he was annoyed.
He did. That day. He doesn't understand that. He seemed like what you would expect Pee Wee Herman's dad to be like.
He at that point in time, he wasn't ready for that.
No.
But the Arnold Schwarzenegger today would embrace the shit out of that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I told you I know Michael Rooker, who I would love to put in it, because remember Michael Rooker from Mississippi Burning. I mean, the most frothing at the mouth, scary, racist. And I also had a phone conversation last week. Yeah, with
he's also was in The Walking Dead.
With Jeremy Piven, and Jeremy read the script and was like, "Dude, I think it's great. I would love to help produce it or be a part of it."
Really?
So yeah, maybe Godfrey, Jeremy Piven, Michael Rooker, Andy Steinberg, Godfrey.
I think Godfrey just in any part. Dude.
No, he's gonna play my best friend.
It's funny because the two of you, when we talk about underrated, like or who don't get enough love, you, Earthquake, Godfrey, kills me.
Harland Williams.
Harland Williams got a lot at one time. A lot of love there at one time. But you're going to put him in it? You are going to put him in it.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea.
So it's a comedy.
Yeah.
It's a dark comedy.
Okay.
Yeah. Not because it's sad or anything like that. It's a lot of dark people.
And, I think I'm proud of myself for sticking to my guns, because I remember when, like, the title was Slavery, LOL. And at first, when I had comedians Alex Thomas and Buddy Lewis take a stab at it, I was like, is there a better title? And they came up with Free at Last. I just thought, that's so, for lack of better words, generic. Free at last. I was like, nah, slavery, laugh out loud. I just think that's more unique. Plus, again, my idea for the poster was to show that, that famous poster Will Smith did the movie Emancipation, where he showed a slave with his back with the whip marks. Mm-hmm. So, again, I wanted to do the slave, that same picture, but LOL is whipped on his back. So it's whip marks, LOL.
But you don't think that's going to... What do you think the general public's going to do when they see that?
Do exactly what I want them to do. What the is this?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Listen, again, I start the movie out by quoting those three quotes from Dave Chappelle, George Carlin, and Patrice. That, to me, sets the tone. If this don't make you offended to some degree, run for the hills, then the movie didn't do its job. Obviously, it's a comedy, so the full-on intent is to make you laugh. But it can't just make you laugh.
No, it has to hurt.
It has to hurt.
Dude, that's my kind of comedy.
Yeah.
That's the comedy.
Kick you in your nuts comedy.
That's what I love the most.
Who we casting for your love affair with? Who is there like a love story?
Not really. The love story is really between Godfrey's character with the master's daughter.
Dude, you should have had a scene where you that you could have booked Gemma, where you
Rewrites.
you get
Hey.
it's like the brothel or something, and then
And actually, there is a brothel in the movie that I want to either have RuPaul play, like the drag queen who runs the brothel, and there's another comedian, and I forget the person's name, but she's a real transgender in comedy.
He or her?
Her. It's a he that's a her. Okay. Spanish chick. Yeah.
You can just type that in, Spanish transgender comedian.
comedy. Yeah, Spanish transgender comedian.
I think, but you could have Gemma working there. That's the one you...
You are right. There's a sex scene. Yeah. You're a producer.
I got to get an EP on this thing.
Yeah. He just produced the moment.
Roz Hernandez?
What is it?
Is it Roz Hernandez?
Nah, that don't sound familiar. I'll know it if I hear it. Did you type in transgender black comedian, Spanish
transgender comedian. Oh, she black too?
I think she might be part black, but all Spix is part. Wait. Go. Oh, the glasses. That's her. That's her.
Right here?
Yeah.
You should put those together.
What?
Those two words.
Spix and
Put them together now.
Spix.
No.
Spix.
Spa.
Just say it.
You say it. Spa.
I don't get where you're going.
Spiggers.
Spickers. Oh, Spiggers.
Why are you making me do that?
Because what's the problem?
I don't know. I just say it's so uncomfortable.
Monroe. It's at Monroe. Yeah.
Flame Monroe?
Flame Monroe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Joe King. Godfrey versus Vlad. So let me get this right, Andy. You disagree with Godfrey about 5 to 10% because, in your own words, I'm not talking about the racist white people. I'm talking about the average white person. I think they like black people. Well, has it ever dawned on you that Godfrey wasn't talking about the average white person, but the racist whites? So it seems to me that instead of just listening to the heartfelt facts that Godfrey was spitting, your white guilt felt the need to defend your race just for the of it. As the mighty T.K. Kirkland often says, your emotions are listening to reply instead of to comprehend. No wonder why Muhammad Ali said that no matter how down whites may seem to be with blacks, he doesn't trust any of them as to protect himself. Marc, my main man, you too, buddy. You said that Godfrey isn't a foundational black man. What the does that even mean, bro? Explain it and then analyze your explanation to realize how moronic it sounds. Where the were black slaves taken from, buddy? Was Jamaica not the first drop-off point before America? Hence why foundational black Jamaicans always unreservedly pay tribute to Mother Africa and acknowledges that black people from all over the world who were descendants of the slaves that were dropped off there are all one people from America, thus one love. It's only you dumbass from America who think you're some sort of special kind of black, causing division with nationalism and even among yourselves with all the black on black representing cities and retarded gangs. In the UK, you can ask any black person where their family is originally from, and they'll say either Caribbean or Africa. The Caribbeans acknowledging that the Caribbeans are ultimately from Africa. Afro-Brazilians will also acknowledge their African roots proudly by their culture of food, music, dance, and even combat style. Yet every American I ask, they seem confused and say their family has always been in America, and so they're American. Americans make me sick. This has got to be from Brandon. And
Thanks for keeping it concise.
And that's the last place on this planet I dread to visit. Yes, y'all are amazing with arts and entertainment, but that's where my admiration ends. So, Marc, when Godfrey was saying we, that's what he was talking about, the global unity among blacks. Hence why he mentioned Ghanaian and Nigerian inventors in that video that Aries played. Now, instead of comprehending what he was saying, your white emotions got butthurt and responded with, he kept saying we when he wasn't even born here. Marc, how disappointing. Back to you, Andy. Why are you being so aggressive with Marc? Seems like selective outrage. When Aries talks to you, you don't say shit. If you did, then I wouldn't say shit. But having an emotional outburst on Marc comes across as cowardly and bullyish. Marc, however, handled it very maturely without becoming emotional like a bitch on her period with her knickers in a twist. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Joe King, and that's a show.
All right. So, do you want to? We already commented on this. What he doesn't understand. Yes, it's Aries' show. Aries was given the.
It ain't my show.
No, but it's our show. But when we started this show, I always figured out how to get in.
Right.
If this was Double Dutch, you just don't run in. You have to. You got to get the. You got to get the rhythm. And Marc wasn't doing that, and that's what that is. That's not emotion. That is just I'm tired of trying to get in, and someone keeps knocking the jump ropes all over the place. That's it. That's what that is. As far as what I said, I didn't agree with Godfrey I agreed with Godfrey about 95%. No, I have a different opinion on some of the things that he said. It didn't mean what you said. I don't even understand what the you just wrote. What you wrote is that I was trying, my fragility was being exposed. No, I have a different opinion on some of the things that Godfrey has, and that's called conversation. That's called, when you debate someone, yes, you should have a little bit different ideas. If you just have one idea, then what's the point of the conversation? We were talking and we were having different ideas, and there's nothing wrong with that. I could have my own opinion, and he could have his own opinion. There is nothing to that. You're trying to make it something that wasn't, and that isn't what I said. And you almost made it sound like I selectively took certain things. He said I didn't even say what I didn't agree with. There was just some things in there that I thought I would think of it, or maybe think of it a different way, or look at it differently. That's called a conversation, my man. That's what that is. It wasn't about anything. And when you're talking about 90 to 95% that you're agreeing with someone, most people can handle that as a pretty good agreement. We could get things passed on 90, 95%. We can walk down the same path at that point, having a conversation and talking to each other and making changes. What you said was like, I have to agree with him 100%. Do you agree with him 100%? I mean, do you agree with anybody 100%?
Answer the question.
I want you to write in. And as far as Marc, you can say whatever you want about Marc and what I said, but it is. I was frustrated that day. I was tired of hearing it. I was trying to get my words in, and I didn't have my fucking head medicine that day, and I was done.
Shut the up.
Just shut the up.
You get my words in.
Just wouldn't. Just.
I'll say I knew it was a dickish thing to be like, Godfrey's not American black. He's from Africa. He kept going wee, but he's not going to get reparations.
He's from Chicago.
I know. But so he does still identify with the black experience, all that. I was just kind of being a dick. But I do think there is a difference between African blacks and American blacks because of the terrible slavery that they had to go through.
African black
they
people
were selectively bred.
African people don't even
That's why
African people don't even like black people.
Yeah, it's totally different. And it's like that's why American blacks are the best at sports compared to
there's a cultural difference, and that's
at least in basketball.
Not in running.
Not in running.
Yeah.
But
there's a cultural difference, and that's what makes an American. If you're American, that's what makes you an American, because you're culturally American. And I think that's where we get lost in this when we have a discussion, whether it's racial or whether it's your cultural upbringing. And when you're brought up in America, you have a different culture that you're part of an American culture. And that culture is all over the world now, so maybe it's different because every time I turn on a TV, everybody from all over the world is wearing some kind of American athlete kind of shirt or jacket or the culture of America has been released all over the whole world.
Yeah.
And when you grow up in that culture, it's different. And I think when you're American, no matter what your parents or your grandparents or your history has brought you, you are American. After you're here for a few generations, you become American. Unless, and this is where we could get into arguments, unless you get dumped off in a community where there's 10,000 people in the same community that came from the same country, that came from the same culture, and you drop them into into this country, they're not gonna. That culture is not gonna melt into this American community. It's gonna stay that community.
What's the argument you're trying to?
What I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to say
all that?
Because you said that Black Americans are different, and yes, they're different because they're American.
Do you think Africans in Africa talk in the movie theaters?
They don't have movie theaters.
No. You don't. No thoughts.
I never been to a movie. I never been to Africa, so I can't. I wouldn't even. I could try to be funny and say they don't talk, but I don't know.
All right. Jack,
I liked it though. It was you were working.
Jake Hardy.
Wish I had a tag.
A note of caution for GTA, please. Greetings, gentlemen. This will be short and sweet. I work in the intelligence community. Mr. Steinberg, please be careful about who you say you want to punch in the face. As always, be safe, gentlemen, in this current administration. What does that even mean?
Well, because you can't threaten the president. I said, but he has a very punchable face.
Oh, you said you want to punch Donald Trump?
I said I feel like I want, but I don't want that. Having a feeling of doing it and saying that I want to go punch Donald Trump in the face is different. But maybe I did say it
They're
that
not
way.
going to let us back in from Canada.
No. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to have any threat to your president. Yeah.
It's FBI. Who are you looking for? Andy Steinberg.
He's busy punching people in the face.
P.S. It feels wrong to not say anything else. So here is a random porn movie title: Itty Bitty Gangbang, a movie about a group of uptight, big titty Secret Service agents who are ordered to bring Andy in for questioning. But when they hear about Andy slapping somebody on the ass during intercourse and a poop nugget popping out, they plot to kidnap him and force Andy to do the same thing to them. Meanwhile, their boss, Dick Rams Dykes, goes undercover at lesbian bars, carrying a Happy Meal and acting like he is retarded so he can get pity. Every time he busts a nut, he yells, McDonald's. I'd love to see that porno.
I like how he set it up, though. But he's right. You're not. It is disrespectful to say you want to punch the president in the face. I don't want to punch the president in the face. Donald Trump. Sometimes the things that he says that aren't presidential makes me feel that way.
That's elder abuse.
Probably right. You know what? I'm just gonna knock the McDonald's out of his hand. How's that? I don't know if I can do that.
I think he's more of a KFC guy.
No, he was McDonald's.
He's a McDonald's guy.
Oh, really? Because I saw the picture of him on Air Force One with the KFC.
Yeah, but he goes to McDonald's. McDonald's is like he has an order.
Jesus, man.
But so did Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was a McDonald's guy too.
I went there for a different reason. That was the most horrible Bill Clinton. Joe King. We read one from Joe King, but here's another one. Less accountant do. Salutations, y'all. Boo, the accountant too was bullocks, mate. Oh, hand in your man card. What?
He just didn't enjoy. He didn't enjoy the. I wonder if he saw the first one. First of all,
what difference does that make?
Because if you see the first one, you see the development and the growth of the character.
Boo! Best parts were the beginning with J.K. Simmons, the part Andy mentioned with John Bernthal, speaking with the shook girl with all those dead bodies, and the part when Cynthia Robertson was fighting with the crazy ass chick in her crib. Oh my God. I ate a whole entire live buffalo, and then once I ate the wings from the buffalo, I spit the rest out. Cynthia's fine self had me mesmerized the entire movie, but her pedantic personality about the brothers' methods was annoying. I don't know, man. It was just filled with cheesy comedy for me. The first one had comedic timing, and in my opinion, the comedy was more serious humor, similar to The Departed. Accountant 2 felt more like a circus act. Cheesy comedy forced throughout the entire movie. Nah, not for me, but hey, it's beautiful that beauty is truly determined from the eyes of the beholder. Many diverse flavors to cater for each person's taste. P.S. Aries, hot dang, why is you such a diva, my brother? You always pressure your mans to put his phone down like Erykah Badu, yet at the end of each show, while he's giving the dates, you slide out your handheld. You know, this is where sometimes, this is a perfect example. When I say to you, I remember, I forget what we were talking about, and I said to you, you know what, Andy? We're better than some people. Because I'm going to show you the level of intelligence right now with this
I already
dude.
know why.
This is why this dude is a moron. So when you pull the phone out, and the funny thing is, again, I listened to the podcast. So when I got on you about the phone, that was Wednesday's episode.
Mm-hmm.
Then Thursday's episode, you did something where you said, you went something about, I can't concentrate. And I said, exactly. So the whole thing with the phone is, when Andy pulls it out to give the dates, the show's over. So I'm on my phone because there's nothing for me to commit to at that point. When we're doing the podcast, focus, commitment. So that's a different thing. I got to point that out to you.
The listeners want you focused the whole way through, even while I'm giving the date, so that you can get your little notes in on those little dates. Say your little wittisms.
I'm already prepared.
Okay.
I see the floor like magic. 3 plays ahead. I don't have to put my phone down to go, let me double dutch my way into time. I'm a genius. I'm dope. I know how to figure and get the flow. I know how to do all that.
Okay, but going back to what he said though over there, he did say we did have a problem with her and that relationship she had with what they were doing wrong. But you know, I understand.
What you about, the cop?
Yeah, the cop.
Yeah.
But you know, there is something to what he's saying though about how some of it was just put in there to be funny because they needed some levity to counterbalance the violence. I thought that was fair. But there's some little nods, and I didn't. And you know, I was looking, and I forgot to say this when we saw it. The scene where the brothers get in the fight and they fly out of the bar out of the window. I don't know if you remember this movie, but there's a movie with Burt Reynolds. I think it's The Stuntman. I think it's called The Stuntman. It's Burt Reynolds and Terry Bradshaw. And Terry Bradshaw's in the scene in the movie where they get in a fight in the bar, and the guys are punching each other, and they're all flying out of the window. Right. It looks just like that scene, only not so. I mean, like 6 dudes flew out the window on this one. There was I think some little nods to the movies or other things that were in that movie. I still liked The Accountant 2. I thought it was really good. There was really good parts in it, but I think they developed the brother relationship with the funny. That's what it is.
And the word for this is organic. That scene where they're both sitting on what do you call them things? The flyers, the trailers.
Oh yeah, the Airstreams.
When they're sitting on top of the Airstream, and this is why a lot of people, I could tell he wouldn't make a good actor because he doesn't understand nuance and timing. That if you paid attention to that scene, that was an emotional scene about 2 brothers. One felt disconnected from the other, and it was such a beautiful moment when he said, oh God, how did he say it? Do you love me or something? Mm-hmm. You don't really?
Do you even love me?
Do you even love me, or is it your condition? And in that moment, to break that tension as you would with a real person and family, and you have a love connection with that family member, you joke. You joke, which is what made it good when he did the suntan lotion and he chucked it and got up and said, let's get drunk. That was a beautiful, organic moment.
Well, I can tell you, though, from having a son that is on the spectrum, and especially when he was little, to reach him sometimes they go deeper into their emotional wall because whatever is going on with them. And sometimes you have to do some weird to break down that wall to get their attention, like throwing something like that. There was some. I did all kinds of things to get his attention sometimes because he would go deep. I remember the conversation True had. True really liked comic books, and I don't know if I said this on here before, but I know I've talked to people about this. I've talked to parents about this. True had a hard time and he couldn't get the words out because in his head he's thinking about them all real fast. So he's getting very frustrated. The more frustrated he got, the harder it was for him to talk. And so I knew he loved comic books. And so I was reading a comic. I decided to take him when he was having that frustration moment, and I got a comic book out, and I said, "Hey, read this with me. Let's read this together." And he goes, "I don't want to read a comic." I go, "I want to read this comic book with you." And so I read the comic with him, and it was like some page, and I tried to explain to him. I said, "See how that comic on this square says this, and then on this next square, the guy says that." And he goes, "Yeah, yeah." And I go, I said, "In your head, you're seeing the words, but they're going by so fast you can't control them, right?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Try to think of them as a comic book, like that little cell in your head, and say what's on your mind in that cell, and then." After the other person responds, you can say the next thing like that. And he goes, "I don't know," and he was very frustrated. And then he came back and he started to talk to me, and he's like, "I'm trying to do that. It's hard, but it's better."
Yeah.
And so I know those connections. However you get it, so that you can get a person that's severely on the spectrum, to get their attention and to not to try to get them so that they're not aggravated. You have to be funny. You have to. There was a lot of humor that was involved in us, so that things would be funny. But it's really difficult. So I always felt that's why I think I liked it. It really brought those emotions to the surface in that movie, and they did it in a very honest way. And I think if you don't have any connection to that, maybe that's why it seems a little goofier to you.
I also I think John Bernthal overacts. Every time I see him in a scene, I'm like, this guy's acting.
Take a seat with this moron, dude. And then he goes on to say, as I finish this, and dip off the screen, leaving your mans on his solo like Han. God dang, my. Give him a minute, and if he is taking a little too long and being unresponsive, then roast him to put his phone down. Make the feel relaxed and appreciate it, my guy. Anyways, take it easy, fellas. I'm going to be watching the final reckoning this evening. And you have to...
But you could have given me a minute. You could have given me a minute that day. You were just ready to go.
No, the thing that I have is this. And again, I've been doing this with you long enough to where I know when you're looking for something and you're thinking and you're looking and you're thinking...
I'm not paying attention.
You're not paying attention. And when something may get said, that when you're not on your phone, you can bring a certain poignant point to it or bring something to me that I can now comedically work with. So I'm just like, we on the court. I'm going to hit you with this magic no look, but I need you to be ready to catch this ball. Because if you fumble it, now we done f***ed up the play. So that's all that's the reason why I was saying that. But by no means am I sitting here like, make him feel appreciated. He knows his value. He knows his worth. There would be no way I would do this podcast by myself because I'm not equipped for that. I'm just not, like Bill Burr does his podcast, Monday morning podcast, an hour. It's just him talking. I don't have it like that. So I like having a teammate. But your assessments stink.
I think he's defending me, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Got it here. I think that's it.
Is that a show?
Yeah, watch me get on my phone now while you give the dates.
All right, here's the dates, guys. Let me get my phone out. Let me scroll through it and find it because I wasn't allowed to be on the phone. No, I actually have it right here. You're listening to this. Like I said, we finished up our Canadian tour. We're in Buffalo right now, but by the time you hear this, we're going to be where are we? We're in Louisville, Kentucky. Man, we're at the Louisville Comedy Club, June 6th through the 8th, June 13th through the 14th. We're at the Funny Bone in Omaha.
Catch the ball when I throw it to you. I just do it to you.
What'd you do?
Last dance, nigga. Catch the ball when I throw it to you. I just do it to you.
If you don't like the way I play the game.
Like, hey, this is the way I play the game. You don't want to play that way? Don't play that way. Break. Incidentally, I got something to say about that, but go ahead.
Okay, before we even...
No, go ahead.
No, because I want to ask you this question. How many times have you watched that how many times have you watched The Last Dance since the beginning of this year?
At least 100. At least 100. Word through the grapevine is reports have been have come out that Michael Jordan is coming to NBC not for the reasons we think, which is to shred up, but to help uplift. He's basically coming on, from what's been reported, to tell his fans, stop tearing these guys down. He wants the game to move forward. He wants people to stop disrespecting Steph Curry, LeBron James.
Who's disrespecting Steph Curry?
I don't know. You give guys like Luka and Jokic credit and realize that the game has evolved. The powers that be, the evolution, there's more athletic guys, and to stop tearing these guys down to protect his legacy. Mike, you about to hurt my feelings.
That's such a
nigga.
goat answer.
That ain't the answer I want to hear.
Well, what's he gonna do? Yeah, I'm the best.
Be
Or do
honest.
you want him to be like talk a little bit?
Oh,
Like,
yes.
Yes.
Give me what you gave me on The Last Dance. Yes.
I don't think it. I don't. Barkley doesn't hold back,
Yeah. Shaq doesn't hold back.
and it's not up the league.
If anything, they're pointing out why the league is up. So I want Jordan to come do the same. Bitter old men. Bitter old men.
I don't know. I really don't know. He's not entertaining. I mean, he's
That's what
entertaining on the basketball court.
Yes, that's why I was saying I don't understand what the big deal about this is. He ain't putting on a uniform, and he doesn't have Charles Barkley and Shaq's personality.
But he is quick with it if he wants to give you the 1-2 punch.
Can he though?
I don't know. But
Will he though?
When we watched him, when he's talking shit to Barkley, when he's playing golf, he says witty things. But they're witty, but they're sarcastic, they're quick,
and somewhat mean.
and that's what I would want to see from him. I wouldn't want him to see, dude. I would. If Jordan got to do blooper videos, I would be happy with that, because I would love to hear him see somebody go up for a dunk and miss the dunk and
Why you miss that play, you fathead motherfucker? That's 9. Out of here, ho. Oh man.
I would think that would be. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
To see how.
And I know, of course, obviously, it's like, look, he can't curse on TV. So, but even if he didn't give us that there was that one moment in The Last Dance when Scott Burrell tells him, I don't want to guard Judd. He said, hey, you don't want to guard me. You got to guard Judd. He goes, I don't want to guard Judd. I want to guard you. Scott, if you could guard me, there's 900-something jobs looking for you.
It's just that
and then he goes, what'd he say? He goes, oh, don't get me wrong, we're wounded. But, when a dog is wounded, you might get past the first dogs, but that main dog will bite the shit out you. I want that.
I just think that the powers that be in media see that they're going to move the NBA on TNT to ESPN. And if ESPN starts putting out notes and starts moving things around, that's going to fall apart, and they'll already have this thing with Michael set up. That's the only reason I see this even being remotely close. And then, but are you going to get guys that Michael can work off of though too? Because if you go get John Sally, who's witty, and funny, and you get and talent, had that talent they could play,
right,
and you get someone else on the other side of him, then maybe you got something.
Like they mentioned, I think Vince Carter, and I'm just going, Vince don't pop. I've seen him when he replaced one of the guys on TNT. They've had him fill in. He don't pop. Like Jalen Rose pops, John Sally pops. Vince Carter don't pop.
Vince Carter and him going at each other would be kind of fun.
But would they?
I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Dates. Again, we're just going to start over because I don't have a memory to tell you where I left off. June 6th through the 8th, Louisville, Kentucky at the Louisville Comedy Club. June 13th to the 14th at the Funny Bone in Omaha, Nebraska. June 19th to the 21st, Wise Guys in Las Vegas. June 26th to the 28th, Olson Run Comedy Club in Eugene, Oregon. July 5th, Margaritaville, a resort and casino, one night only.
Where's that at? Where's that at?
Margaritaville. Yeah, sorry.
What is
That's,
Balls,
Sierra
yes, that's
City,
it.
Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't say that. You're right. Sorry. See, you're on it. You were paying
And I'm
attention.
on the phone, too.
July 12th, Fitzgerald Theater in St. Paul, Minnesota. July 17th through the 20th, Helium Comedy Club in Portland, Oregon. July 24th through the 26th, comedy at the Carlson in Rochester, New York. And July 31st through August 3rd, Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey. We have one more date just because there are guys. August 7th through the 9th, Mic Drop Comedy in San Diego, California.
There it be.
That's the show.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit spearsburgpod.com.